Okay, everybody. Thank you very much for attending this morning for this webinar that we're going to be talking about Brighthouse Financial's SecureAdvantage 6 product. The title of that was that 7.5% guaranteed cap for 6 years, and that's exactly what it is. And I don't think I've seen a product that has more accumulation potential than this one does. I mean, I've certainly, and I've been in the business 23 years and looked at various indexed annuity contracts, and certainly income riders are one of those types of products that are sold a lot, but accumulation only or accumulation designed products are certainly probably overselling or outselling the income rider type of sale now. That's at least what we've seen. And we're going to be joined here in just a minute by a gentleman by the name of Aaron Batchelor. He comes to us from Market Synergy Group. He's an expert in this particular product, and we'll be going over that in a second. But like I said, thank you for joining us and for the webinar that we're holding today. On your screen here, I'm going to go ahead and show the whole entire screen there. One thing I do want to jump back here is point out, I always like to point out that the phone number that we offer here, 800-255-5055, that's the only number that you need at IAMS. We believe that you get your answers a lot quicker than dialing an extension for me or an extension for any of the other employees here. You just get a better answer and a quicker answer, and we just feel that's the best way of doing it, and it's the most efficient way to handle it. During your first 180 days or 6 months, you're entitled to, and these are the different levels of production that allow you to get different perks, if you will. I mean, I always like to point out that writing a $100,000 case, get $750 in cash or an iPad. Most people, I have an agent right now that actually wrote $250 in about 4 months period of time, and he's going for the $1,500 gift card. And it's just a nice way for us to say thank you for your business and your trust in us. And we have a majority of our producers who are way over the $1 million level, and that allows them to get a lot more. And I would always encourage you, anybody here would encourage you to really not use so much the dollars, but use like the reimbursement program, because I think you'll get more mileage out of that than you would just getting a $1,500 gift card that'll allow you to buy groceries or whatever the case may be. But we always like to invest back into your business, and that's just gonna, like I said, get you more mileage and a lot more efficient way of using that. Like I said, the IAMS Business Builders, we do have that referred producer program. We like to pay you pretty handsomely for your referrals here. We send out checks on a quarterly basis, and you also get to, if you will, ride along with them as they produce business. That's that third bullet point there. When they do write business, you get 20 basis points on the business by your referral. So that's just a nice way to not only get paid for when you refer them, they also have to get contracted to get that, by the way. But when they write business, you also get money in your pocket for them producing business as well. And then once this is, of course, post that slide before, where after the 180 days, that marketing reimbursement program, for every $100,000 of premium that you do write, this is annuities, of course, you do get a $100 marketing reimbursement as well. And I'd also like to just throw out there too, we do record these webinars, and it's on YouTube. But the one thing, because I use YouTube quite a bit, is to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way, whenever we produce these, and we produce a lot of them, I always like to say that if it's 10 o'clock on any weekday, you're going to see IAMS doing a webinar in teaching and training and guiding agents, giving a lot more information than any other IMO out there. So again, subscribe to our YouTube channel so then you're notified whenever we do one of these, in case you happen to miss an email from us or not. But I just want to throw that in there. I meant to do that at the beginning. But here's your back office support. I love to show this slide too. We work harder. We help you work harder. We help you work smarter, not harder. That's what I meant to say. A lot of great information that we provide for you. Case design assistance, forms at your fingertips. We have the Firelight, app system, e-application, so you can just submit your applications online as opposed to with a pen. I'd rather have you do it with a mouse and a keyboard. Life annuity quotes, that's a daily task for me and all the other annuity sales directors here. That's what we do on a daily basis. We're running illustrations, working on case design and things like that. Also, the bottom bullet point there, paperless contracting. That is our Assurance Bay contracting system that allows you to just log in to complete contracting. Early on, when I used to work for an IMO, this is several years ago, you would have to fill out, even probably within a year or so ago, you still had to do contracting with a pen, and now you can do it online. So that's a nice way to do it as well, just a lot more easier. The IAMS website, there is a lot of information on our website. There is sales tools. You can quote term insurance. We're always accessible. Of course, that's a silly thing to say I have on there because it's always available 24 hours a day. Forms online. I'm not going to go through all those bullet points, but what I do like to talk about, which isn't on here, is the sales resource library. That is basically a library of any information that or any sales topic you'd like to talk about, and you can click on it and it actually brings up a presentation for you, so you don't have to, and it's not, doesn't have a company logo on it. It just is like, if you want to learn about buy-sell agreements for life insurance, key person insurance, qualified plans, things like that. There's all kinds of various information on there that make you look smarter in front of your client. That's what we're all about. I mentioned this before. Firelight, that's our system that allows you to submit your applications online, and there's two different ways, and I think this needs to be said too, as agents, and I just spoke with one yesterday that said, God, this is gonna, it's gonna be a problem. I'm gonna have to do this in front of my client. I said, wait a minute, you don't have to do this in front of your client. Matter of fact, that's the last thing I would do, because you can do it that way, and I would maybe, once you get more experience with doing this stuff, doing the e-applications, and maybe you would do that in front of the client, but not your first or second one. You wouldn't do that unless it's a family member or a friend or something like that. But problems, that old Murphy's law, something's going to happen when you're serving your client. That's so I would just do it. There's a way to do it remotely, and it sends an email to the client, and then they have to put in their last 4 digits of the social. I'm not going to get into how they electronically sign, but there's a way to have it done remotely instead of in front of your client. Creative marketing solutions. We have a creative department that allows you to, and this is based on your production, have all kinds of various things that we can do for you: newsletters, postcards, stationery, digital solutions, a personal website. I'm just going to throw this in there. If you don't have a website for an individual that you happen to run into at a wedding reception or any social event that isn't able to find you on the website, as opposed to just Googling you and maybe finding you on LinkedIn, that's not good enough, guys. You need to have your own website, and we can do that for you here. And we have done it for a lot of agents, and it's paid huge dividends for the agents that have used us for that. And I'm also going to throw up a poll question here too, and this is about IAMS wealth management. If you are a producer out there that wants to not only write, annuities and things like that, but maybe have yourself, it's all about marketing yourself and being more things, I should say, more to your clients out there. Well, being wealth management is really where it's at. So I do want to throw out this poll question here too, and see if there's any. Oh, the poll questions aren't on here. Huh. Okay. Well, what I'll be doing then is I will send you out via email if you'd like to have more information on wealth management. When this was created, the poll questions weren't put in there, so I apologize for that not being aware and that not being on there. But anyway, so if you want to learn more about this, certainly reach out to us here and we can get you more information on that. Life and Annuity Academy, prior to it's not a laughing matter, of course, I don't mean to chuckle there, but prior to COVID-19, we had one scheduled for May. These are the ever so popular Life and Annuity Academies. We have these 2 or 3 times a year, sometimes 4 times a year, sponsored by a various carrier here and there. And these are well attended, typically by newer agents, and we have certainly a lot of the producers that write in the tens of millions of annuity premium every year that attend this and kind of explain what they do to make themselves better, and that just helps you out, and they're great, and they're free of charge. You do have to be appointed with the carrier that is sponsoring it, but beyond that, you are invited, and it's a free trip for you to learn about how to do things the right way and kind of magnify your business practice. Talking about the trips here, we had one scheduled for August, a couple of months from now, but the COVID-19 kind of wiped that out, and we decided to cancel that. But this is one of our trips. We have actually two of them. This is a Puerto Vallarta trip there in March of 2021, and it does require you to write 3.5 million. It says points there, but that equates to annuity premium, and that's indexed annuity premium, of course. And the next trip is it's actually an extension on that. If you see that 7-11, this one is 11 to 14. So if you write, it's 6.5 million as opposed to the 3.5 prior to that, then you would actually qualify for a little bit of an extension there. Now with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over. I'm going to share my screen with a gentleman by the name of Aaron Batchelor. Aaron, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can, David.
Okay, great. Let me go ahead and did you get control yet?
No, I haven't seen anything pop up.
Okay. There you go.
There we go. All right, are you able to see mine okay, David?
I sure can.
Okay, perfect. Well, good morning, everyone. Thanks for the opportunity to jump on and join you this morning to talk about the Brighthouse SecureAdvantage 6 product that is fairly new to the marketplace. It rolled out early part of February, so I know everybody's time is valuable. So I've got about 15 minutes worth of material here to run through, and then I think at the end, if there's any questions, we'll just have you kick those back to David and his team at IAMS. So let's jump into it. So let's first kind of start about how we came up with this opportunity and what our thought process was behind creating this product. So let's first kind of talk about what does and I'm not expecting participation here, I'll just answer this for us, but what does the industry maybe not like about longer point-to-point crediting strategies? So client doesn't see any gain in the index until the end of the crediting term. No death benefit if client dies before end of crediting term. No interest credit reduces free withdrawal availability. No partial credit on free withdrawals. And you can lose all your gains at the end and no annual reset to take advantage of the market rebounds. So what if we could solve all those issues? So we knew those were, hurdles or obstacles that we would have to overcome for people to be comfortable. And so what if we could solve all those? So let's go through them. Client doesn't see any gains in the index until the end of the crediting term. Well, actually, we're going to have a daily performance value that you can track, okay? No death benefit if the client dies before the end of the crediting term. That full daily performance value is also the death benefit, okay? So it's keeping pace. No interest credit reduces free withdrawal availability. You have 10% of premium is the free withdrawals. It's not of account value, so it's a premium and it's available first year. So both of those are kind of unique features. No partial credit on free withdrawals. You actually have pro rata credit on withdrawals, and then you can lose all your gains at the end. This actually has an annual reset feature. So, and we'll go into that in a little more detail in the future slides. It also has on one of the strategies, it has a daily performance lock. Okay. So, what do people maybe not like about indexed annuities, or maybe what's one of the worst pieces of an indexed annuity? And I'm going to make this screen really quick. But renewal rates, right? Sometimes those things can be difficult conversations. Well, the best, once again, I'm gonna skip all the main part of this. The best part about one of the best parts about the SecureAdvantage 6, no renewal rates. So the rates at issue are guaranteed for 6 years. So now let's get into the product design. I think everybody is comfortable. Let's start with who is Brighthouse. I think everybody's comfortable with Brighthouse. I think if you watch any TV, you see they do an amazing job of marketing their products and their company. I think probably on this screen, the most important thing to everybody on the phone is their ratings down at the bottom right cell. And you can see with S&P, they're A+. So I think everybody's really, really comfortable with Brighthouse. I don't think we'll have any issues there. So this product has 3 pillars. First is a protection pillar. So I want to be very, very clear that this is a fixed indexed annuity. Okay, so 100% of your purchase payment is protected. And as I mentioned before, you have a death benefit that keeps track and is going to be equal to your daily performance value. Okay, the growth pillar. So you have 2 different crediting methods available on this product. One is an annual sum, which is new, innovative, unique. It's not available on any other product. And then you have a point-to-point strategy. Okay, so it also just tracks 2 major indexes. So it's S&P 500 and the Russell 2000. There's no ball control indexes on this product. So we tried to keep it really simple. Okay, there is a performance lock available, and I'm going to go into that in more detail. It's only available on the point-to-point strategy, but I'm going to go into it in more detail in some further slides. The clarity pillar. So there's this is a short-term 6-year accumulation product. There are no riders you can attach, and there's no fees. Once again, you can track values daily, and the free withdrawal amount, once again, available first year, it is 10% of premium. So what are the differentiators with this product? Once again, the annual sum crediting method, performance lock, you don't see that, it's out there, but you don't see it a ton. And then the availability to track your values. And so our next few slides here, I'm going to go into what the different values are with this product. So the interim value. Think of this as vesting. Think of this as time served. So let's look at our example here. Client's been in the contract 3 of 6 years. They started with $100,000. At that point, the index is up 10%, but realize we've only been in it 3 years. So we're going to take the 10% times half of the time that we've been in it. So our interim value is $105,000. Really where this comes into play is if somebody's going to surrender it. That's the value they're going to go off of. So it'd be the 105 times the surrender charge penalty. Okay. Excuse me. Now the death benefit value. I'm going to go forward a screen and then I'll come back. All I'm trying to point out here is the death benefit value. Remember I told you it keeps pace with the daily performance value. It's the same. So there's the daily performance value. If I go back a screen, it's the death benefit value. Okay, so let's look at our example. Client passes away at the end of the 3rd contract year, so we're halfway through it. Started with 100, the index is up 10, and they're going to get the full 110,000 as a death benefit. Okay, now if I go to the daily performance value, same scenario. This person's just checking their account after the completion of the 3rd year. Same deal. Index is up 10. Their daily performance value is going to reflect 110,000. You can see the bottom line there. Daily performance value will always equal the death benefit value. Now, let's talk about annual sum. Once again, this is unique, different, not available on any other product out there. So I'm guessing most of you on this call or webinar are familiar with monthly sum and have sold that at some point or used that crediting method at some point. So let's kind of talk about that real quickly. Monthly sum is I'm taking 12 different numbers. I'm going to add those up, and that's my return at the end of the year. On monthly sum, there is no downside floor. So hypothetically, in 1 month, if the index you were in happened to go down 20%, for that month, you would bank a negative 20, which can be tough to overcome. So annual sum is similar to monthly sum, but we're working with years instead of months, and this is a 6-year product. So I'm at the end of this, I'm going to add up 6 numbers. I'm going to bank 6 numbers, I'm going to add those up, and that's my return at the end of the year. The difference is we have a 10% downside floor. So the worst you can ever bank is a negative 10. Okay? And once again, remember I told you earlier, this is a fixed index annuity. So at the end of the 6 years, as I add this up, if the number happens to be negative, then it's a 0. Okay? It's a fixed index annuity. Your purchase payment is 100% protected. Here's an example. This is our middle band right now, 7 1/4. So here's an example. So think of it in really simplistic. This is no time frame. This is no years. This is, don't get caught up on the returns. This is really just a visual to try to get you comfortable with the annual sum and how it works. So think of it this way. In this scenario, we have a cap of 7 1/4. I'm going to bank a number between positive 7 1/4 and negative 10 for 6 straight years, and then I'm going to add those numbers up, and that's my return. So in year 1, index did 7, we bank a 7. Year 2, index did 4, we bank a 4. Year 3, index did really well, went up 13%, but remember we cap out at 7 1/4, so we banked a 7 1/4. Next year, market kind of tanked, went down 12%, but remember, we have a 10% downside floor, so we bank a negative 10. Next year it's up 6, we bank 6. Next year it's up 3, we bank 3. End result, 17.25. Once again, don't get hung up on any of that. This is really just a visual trying to get you to understand the concept. Here's a page of the illustration. So if you did annual sum with cap right now, $100,000 is our middle band. You can see the cap rate of 7 1/4. You can see the floor of negative 10. So let's just look at the first line. This is a 60-year-old. So you can see the first year, the index was up 12.78. We just go across the line with me. We capped out at 7 1/4. So our full performance rate is 7 1/4. Our interim or adjusted is 1/6 of that. So 1/6 of 7 1/4 is 1.21. So then if you look at go over to the interim value, that'll reflect the 1.21. And if you look at the daily performance value, that's going to reflect the 7.25 full daily performance rate, and so on and so forth. And you can see the average return on this particular illustration is 4.24. Okay? Now, here's an annual sum with par rate. So on annual sum strategy, you have two choices. You can either choose cap or you can choose participation rate. So here's the participation rate example. Excuse me. Year 1, once again, I won't go through each one of these because I think at this point you're probably getting, but year 1, we were up 6%. And we take, 50% of that is our par rate, so we bank a 3. Next year up 472, we get 50% of that, so on and so forth. Once again, so this is the same concept, just using a par rate of 50%, okay? Now, here's what I want to point out on this screen. The only takeaway from this screen is, this is to show you that it is annual reset. So, the top is positive index performance, the bottom is negative index performance. So let's just look at the top. We start, index value is 1,000, into year 1 it's 1,060. That's my new starting point for year 2. That's the definition of annual reset. Let's look at the bottom. Start at 1,000, it goes down to 990. My next starting point for year 2 is 990. So just know that if you're in this and the market happens to have a bad year, wherever that index ends up, that's my starting point for the next year. And if I have 50% participation rate maybe available with that, I can capture 50% of the upside on the next year. Okay. Here's a annual sum with participation rate illustration. $100,000, 50% par rate. So let's just go through the first line again. 12.78 is what the index did. I get 50% of that. So 6.39 is what the full performance rate is. And 1/6 of that, or the interim, is 1.07. And then once again, those numbers will be reflected over in the interim value and the daily performance value column over to the far right. The average return on this particular strategy is 4.85. Now, that was annual sum. So now the other strategy is a point-to-point. We're all familiar with how point-to-points work. This is a 6-year point-to-point. So I'm looking at the index today. I'm looking at the index in 6 years, and I'm taking a 50% participation rate of that. In this example, the index went up 30%. I have a 50% par. I get a 15% interest credit. So this is the strategy that you can do a performance lock on. So on this example, let's just say you're in this strategy and 4 years into the 6 years, it's up. And it's up considerably and you're comfortable with it and you think maybe there's going to be a correction over the next 2 years. So you can lock in your value at the 4-year mark, sit on the sidelines for the remaining 2 years, and whatever value you locked in at the 4-year mark will be what is stretched out over the 6-year return. You have a one-time opportunity to lock in. It's only on the point-to-point strategy, not on the annual sum strategy. Here is a point-to-point with par rate illustration. So once again, $100,000, that's our middle band. The par rate right now is 45%. So at this point, for sake of time, I know everybody's busy. I won't go through, but you can, once again, if you just go through that top line, you can kind of see where we're at here of the 45% of the 12.78 reflected in the values. In this particular illustration, the average return is 5.45. Here's page 17. A lot of people just like to look at this page. It's a nice little snapshot. It gives five different 6-year segments dating back to 1990, and it shows you what the S&P is on the left, Russell's on the right. It shows you what the index did, and it shows you if you're in a 7.25 cap, if you're in a 50% par, or if you were in the 45% point to point, what your different returns would be. So a lot of people just like this as kind of a summary snapshot page of the illustration. So here are the current rates. These are effective through 6/14. So you can see we have annual sum with cap, we have annual sum with par rate, and then we have point to point with participation rate as well as a fixed account. As I mentioned before, remember these annual sum and point to points are guaranteed for the full 6-year term. So hypothetically, let's just say I have $100,000. I want to do annual sum with participation rate. That gives me a 50% par. I have 50% par guaranteed for the next 6 years. Okay. You can see we have both rates for S&P and Russell. Minimum is 50,000 to get in the product. So you have a low band, middle band, and high band. You can diversify. So you can put some money in annual sum with cap rate. You can put some into annual sum with par rate. You can put some into point to point, and then you can even diversify amongst the two indexes. So in summary, here's the product. It's a product that you can track daily. You have a death benefit that keeps pace. You have an innovative annual sum strategy. Once again, rate consistency guaranteed for 6 years, and then you have a performance lock available on the point-to-point strategy. So the product, like I said, been out 3-4 months now.
Yeah.
Built a ton of momentum. I think a lot of people are really grasping the concept, liking the shorter-term duration, liking the accumulation potential on it. And so it's been a big success thus far, and we're looking to continue to build momentum and go forward. So once again, David, I appreciate the time, appreciate the people that jumped on today. I'll turn it back over to David, and like I said, if you have questions, just kick them back to David and his team. And I hope everybody has a great rest of the day, and I'll jump off and turn it over to you, David.
Appreciate it, Aaron. Yeah, just one more thing though. You know, I've been doing this a long time, and I work with a lot of agents. And one of the I guess you call it complaints that are or the rub, if you will, about indexed annuities is or I should say are the renewal caps. That's what typically I get a lot of pushback on that, where you write a case 1 year and then the next year the renewal caps are nothing close to what they were when you first sold them. Well, this really combats that. I think Aaron did a really good job of covering that. So, well, listen, I really appreciate everybody's attendance here. I know your time is very valuable, but especially what we're going through right now. But anyway, I appreciate your attendance on this, and I'll be reaching out to you guys with any questions that you might have. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.